And today we're going to be looking at
Learning English through everyday conversations at the post office.
yeah, this is going to be really helpful for anyone who's just starting to learn English. A lot of the times you learn kind of these very formal ways of speaking English and not really the everyday language that people actually use when they're out and about.
Absolutely. Like, how do you actually get things done?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So today we're going to focus on just a very simple everyday conversation that you might have at the post office.
Yeah, just a really quick one.
Yeah, and in this conversation, just to set the scene here, I'm Alex, I've got a package,
Okay.
and I want to send it to Germany,
Oh,
and I'm interacting with you, the postal worker, to try and figure out how to do that.
sounds good. Let's try it.
All right. So,
Yeah.
can I send this package to Germany?
Sure. Do you want standard or express shipping?
What's the difference?
Express is faster, but it's more expensive.
I see. Well, I think I'll just choose standard, please.
Okay. Fill out this form with your details.
Can you help me? I'm a little confused about this part.
Of course. Write your address clearly here.
Okay, thanks. And how long will delivery take?
It usually takes about 1 week.
Great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, so that was our little post office interaction there.
Yeah.
Now let's dive into some of the vocabulary and phrases that we use there.
Okay. Sounds good.
So, I guess we could start with one of the very first words that I said, which was package.
Okay.
Can I send this package to Germany?
Yeah.
So in this case, package refers to...
Something that's being mailed.
Exactly. So it could be
No.
a box, it could be an envelope, whatever you're trying to send.
Right.
That's the package.
So package. Package. Can you say that?
Yeah, package.
Pack.
So if you're ever at the post office and you need to send something, you can say, can I send this package?
Yeah, exactly. And then you heard me ask, do you want standard or express shipping?
Right.
So that word express.
Express. What does that mean?
Express just means fast.
Okay, so if you're in a hurry,
Yeah.
you can choose express shipping.
Yeah, but it's going to be a little bit more expensive.
Right, but if you're not in a hurry, you can choose standard shipping.
Yeah, and standard is like the normal speed.
Yeah, normal speed, exactly. And then towards the end, I asked, how long will delivery take?
Right.
So that word delivery, that refers to...
Something arrives at its destination.
Exactly, when your package arrives wherever you're sending it to, that's the delivery.
Yeah, so that's a really important word to know.
It is a really important word to know.
How long will delivery take?
Yeah, how long will delivery take? That's a great question to know.
Yeah.
So those are some of the really key vocabulary words from this interaction, but I think it's also important to look at some of the phrases that we used.
Yeah, for sure, because those are like the building blocks
Exactly.
of like a conversation.
Yeah, so for example, right at the beginning, I started the conversation by saying, can I send this package to Germany?
Right.
So that can I send this is a really great phrase to just start the interaction. And it's a very polite way to ask if you're allowed to mail something.
Right.
So can I send this?
Yeah, and then you ask, what's the difference?
What's the difference?
Yeah. And that's such a useful question.
It's a super useful question.
Whenever you're learning something new.
Anytime you're confused about something.
Yeah. Anytime you have two options and you don't know which one.
Exactly.
What's the difference?
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to ask that.
Don't be afraid to ask.
Yeah.
And then a little bit later on, I said, can you help me? I'm confused about this part.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
So can you help me is also an incredibly useful phrase.
Yeah, people are usually very happy to help.
They are.
If you ask politely.
Exactly.
Can you help me?
Yeah. You can use that in all kinds of different situations.
Right. It doesn't have to be at the post office.
Not at all.
It could be anywhere.
So those are some of the really key phrases that we used. And I think Just kind of stepping back and looking at the structure of that whole interaction. The whole goal of this interaction was me trying to send the package.
Right.
And I needed to understand what my options were and what the best way to send the package was.
Right. And I was there to explain
Exactly.
the different options.
Yeah, so it's a very, very common type of interaction that you might have in English.
Yeah, and just knowing those phrases can really help you feel more comfortable and confident when you're speaking English
Absolutely.
in these everyday situations.
Yeah. So we really encourage you guys to go back, listen to that little dialogue again, and maybe even try to repeat some of the lines along with us.
Yeah, because the more you practice, the more comfortable you'll get
Exactly.
with these sounds.
All right. Well, it looks like we're just about out of time. So why don't we do a little recap of everything that we covered today
Sure. So today we focused on a simple conversation
at the post office?
at the post office.
Mm-hmm.
And you were trying to send a package
To Germany.
to Germany, and we learned some really important vocabulary like package express,
Delivery.
delivery.
Mm-hmm.
Those are really good ones to remember.
Yeah, and then some of the key phrases that we covered.
Can I send this?
What's the difference?
Do you want?
I choose.
Can you help me?
And how long will something take?
Yeah, so just remembering these simple phrases can make a huge difference when you're trying to communicate in English.
It really can.
Yeah.
So we hope this deep dive was helpful for you guys.
Yes, and if you liked it, please subscribe and give us a like.
Yeah, it really helps us out.
And it helps us make more videos for you.
Exactly. And as always, we want to leave you guys with a little something to think about. So today, after you finish listening to this deep dive, think about some other simple everyday situations where you might need to use English, and what are some basic questions that you might ask in those situations?
Yeah, that's a good exercise.
It is a good exercise.
Okay.
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us for this deep dive, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining the conversation here at Kaz English. We hope you found it fun and informative. Don't forget to check out kazapp.uk. That's kazapp.uk for more tips, resources, and interactive practice. Keep exploring, keep chatting, and we'll catch up with you again soon.